Hi, I'm David Peck here for another video. It was the Crows versus Port Power, the showdown, the first showdown of the year, one to come. And let's do a recap of the game itself. So I was there at Adelaide Oval. Over 50,000 people were there. It was a Saturday night. Before this game itself, I thought we were going to lose by 60 points. I didn't think we were going to show up at all. After our despicable game against the Bulldogs the week before, I thought this was going to be an absolute rollover by the Crows. We end up losing by a goal. Almost took it at the end there. Reminds me of that Fast and Furious when Vin Diesel and Paul Walker are doing that street race and Paul Walker goes to Vin Diesel. Even though I had the Honda S2000, I almost had you, and we almost had them. But what went wrong for us? Why didn't we win that game? Well, I think we need to look at, like I've said, is the coaching. The coaching and the three things I've noticed with Ken Hinkley and his coaching and what makes him a bad coach is number one, his selections. Number two, the overall team's structure, ball movement and skills are pretty poor for an AFL team. And number three, team matchups. So let's do a bit of summary. There was a movie I saw recently called Moneyball with Brad Pitt, and it's basically a true story of a baseball team. Brad Pitt's character is a team selector of a real bottom team, like in the NBL, and his team aren't competitive because they don't have the money compared to the bigger teams like the Mets or the Yankees or the Red Sox. So he has to work with the budget he's got and the team he's got. Now, what he does is he gets quite competitive. He gets very competitive. They go on a big winning streak, this team. True story. They win over 20 games in a row. And the reason was because he hired this guy who was a mathematician. And this guy never played baseball, never knew anything much about baseball, but he knew stats. He knew statistics and maths. And based on players' stats and maths using that, they were able to get players in that team that, although they were seen as not great players, they did well for the team because of statistics. And that's where I come into this. This is why I need to be hired by the Port Adelaide Football Club. I never played AFL, never played football at all. But I know team selections. I know players' potentials. I've just got this gift. Knowing, don't select this player, don't play this player, don't match up this player. And that's what Hinkley lacks. He doesn't have the mind. He may know football, but he doesn't know the mind of his players' potentials. And he knows which players statistically will do well and which ones will let him down. So let's look at the selections, right? If Hinkley said to me, this is our starting 22, I would have said to Hinkley, Jed McEntee, do not put him in our starting 22. Do not waste our time. I prefer to play someone like Joe Berry, who I know hasn't been playing well this year, but he's a first round pick. Let's get games into our first round pick. Don't put games into Jed McEntee. Jed McEntee is going to get delisted at the end of his contract. Why waste time with him? Let's bring in some potential. Darcy Byrne-Jones, I don't know what it is, but from the bounce, Darcy Byrne-Jones was rubbish from the bounce. He did well in the second quarter. He helped us a bit in the second quarter, but he is the biggest fraud of a player. He is a fraud of a player. You know, here's some statistics for you, Ken Hinkley. Do you know the one game we haven't played Darcy Byrne-Jones this year was against Hawthorn, and we absolutely belted them? That's the catalyst. Darcy Byrne-Jones is the catalyst. Darcy Byrne-Jones needs to come out of this team. So let's go over the game. So we talked about Darcy Byrne-Jones and how rubbish he is. The Crows were just too strong. Bigger bodies. We had too many medium-sized bodies. Stronger in the marking contests. The Crows were able to hit their targets a lot better than we were. We weren't able to hit our targets as much as the Crows were. They were able to hit targets. Their kicking was excellent. Boom, boom, boom. Hitting targets. Our turnovers. How many times did we turn over the ball because of poor kicking? Not because it was contested, but poor kicking, turn over the ball. And then Crow scored off those poor turnovers. Inside 50s. We had so many more inside 50s compared to the Crows. But our deliveries, this is something that's ongoing for Port. Our deliveries inside 50s are terrible. Okay, we don't have big Charlie Curnows or Darcy Fogartys or Riley Philthorpes or Jesse Hogans to kick to. But still, put it into space. Don't turn over the ball. So many times we kicked it into the stupid matchups. Look what the matchups are, right? Look at those matchups. If you're going to see a poor matchup up forward, don't kick it that way. Both teams gave away stupid free kicks that resulted in goals. So that was both times. We missed really Rioli. If we had Rioli play, we would have won. I'll tell you right now, we would have won if we had Rioli. But unfortunately, we had to play Jed McEntee, and means no Rioli, and means we lost. So thanks, Rioli, because you're missing that game, cost us the win. People say to me, Dawson is a great player. Rankin is the Crows' best player. They're great players, yes, they're great players. But you know what player really stood out? Riley Philthorpe. Crows won the wooden spoon and picked him up at pick 2, and what a pickup. He is just a machine. He is a monster. He's just too powerful. If they lose Riley Philthorpe, they won't even make the top 8. He is the difference. He is the difference in that team. He's so much stronger in the marking contest. Georgiades, he's improving. I'm not going to bag him, but he did let us down with some shots on goals that he should have put. The shots on goals he should have put away. They were easy shots on goals for a key forward. They're ones that Fogarty would have scored. They're ones that Philthorpe would have scored. And he let us down a bit. He needs to be better with his kicking for goal. He needs to be a lot better. He's good with his marking contest, leading for the ball. Just needs to polish his goal scoring, because he's about 50% for goal scoring. Ollie Lord's role. Ollie Lord started the season off well, first 2 games, but what is Ollie Lord's role? His role in this team is to keep Jack Lukosius's shoes warm. To wear the shoes. That's all he is. Because once Jack Lukosius back in a couple of weeks, Ollie Lord's back in the reserves. That would be my Moneyball selection. Ollie Lord back into the reserves, bring Jack Lukosius in once he's fit. Burne-Jones, he did improve in the second quarter. Finn Layson played probably the best game I've ever seen him play for Port. If Finn Layson didn't play the well he did, we would have lost by 5-6 goals. He kicked a lot of goals, 3 goals I think he kicked, but he also was involved in a lot of score involvements as well. So I'm happy with Finn Layson. He did well. Aaliyah, he struggled against Philthorpe. He just struggled. Philthorpe, this is gonna be the Riley Philthorpe show. That was the Riley Philthorpe show. What a machine of a player. Aaliyah, he'll win the Coleman. If he doesn't win it this year, he'll win it soon. Put money on, I'm telling you right now, Philthorpe to win a Coleman. Maybe 2 or 3. He is a machine. And Aaliyah, he's the next big thing. He is the next big thing. Aaliyah struggled against him. You need 2 players on Philthorpe. 2. Because, it was an absolutely dominant monster show. A monster among men's. Philthorpe. Third quarter, we kept pushing. Jason Horne-Francis kicked the goal of the game in that third quarter. What an unbelievable goal. But all our 3 star players, all of them. Jason, Rosie, Butters, they played great. They'll get coaches' votes this game. But we can't rely on those 3 best players. Like, Rosie won the medal, the showdown medal. He was great halfback flank in the middle. Rosie is a star player. He can be moved anywhere. Halfback, forward, midfield. That's what makes him a great player. He's an all-rounder. You can play him in any position. And that's what makes him a top 5 player, I think, in the 2018 draft. Because he was excellent. Won the showdown medal. What else can I say? Ollie Lord played rubbish that whole game. Had 1 shot on goal he should have just kicked. And I said to a friend of mine who was sitting next to me, I said, if Ollie Lord misses this shot on goal, we'll lose the game by a goal. And what happened? We lost the game by a goal. Again, I know the stats. I know this team. I don't play football, but I know I've got the gift of knowing which players need to improve and which players are doing well. So that's the game in a nutshell, really. We played a lot better than we did against Bulldogs, but Hinkley, mate, hire me. I will get your selections, your best starting 22, because that's the 3 things that's going to get you sacked sooner before the end of the season. Your poor selections, your poor matchups. How many times was the ball going inside the Crows 50 and we had medium-sized, small players matched up against their machine monsters? Like, we're just basically just giving them the game. Like, poor matchups. And then our overall school errors. You can tell it's poor coaching when their delivery inside 50 is terrible. Their ball movement through the middle is terrible. We can't finish. It's an overall game structure and gameplay. Crows played well. Do I think Crows are a top 4 team? No. I think they're definitely a top 8 team. But what are we going to do next week? Who do we even got next week? Hopefully we've got an easy team next week. But we need Jack Lukosius. I know he's only played a couple of games this year. I really want to see what Jack Lukosius can bring to this team. And Rioli, you need to come back on that side. We lost that game because you didn't play. Anyway, that's my video. I'll see you all next time. Go Port. Goodbye.